Welcome back to another episode here on the Eternal Sith Network. Today we're going to be doing the breakdown of Bad Batch episodes 7 and 8. But before we do start, y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe, like, and notification bell. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Eternal Sith fam. And once you're done watching this video, go check out my last video. Give it a thumbs up as you watch. Y'all know what to do. Get that popcorn, get those drinks ready, and let's start the show. Episode 7, The Clone Conspiracy. Right off the bat, we see two clones talking about Admiral Rampart and his ways of how he's been handling the clones and what happened on Kamino and how literally it was their fault and how this one clone was a part of that and how he knows all the details and how there is a commander log that is in his ship, and we'll later get into where that is, and we'll see more pictures and information on that. But then we see as they are talking, the one clone does get shot because, again, we know that Rampart is behind all of this. And it ends up being this assassin that we find out later who the assassin is. So now this one clone, we see he is on the run. Right after, we go back to the Galactic Senate discussing the decommissioning of clones, and we see Senator Chuchi and the return of also Bail Organa. And we see Admiral Rampart giving his speech for the next bill that would basically phase out the clone troopers in order for the next batch of, now we would get Imperial troopers, which we later will talk about and see as well. And then right after, we see Senator Chuchi goes to talk to some clones in order to stand up for them on the Galactic Senate as they have no representation there. And you see them kind of getting a little riled up and they just want to do this for the fight. But again, they need representation, and that's what she can do for the clones because she knows, and a lot of them know, how valuable they really are to the galaxy. Then a little bit after, Senator Chuchi goes to meet up with the clone that actually knew the information on what happened on Kamino, but ends up getting shot down by the assassin, as you see here, again, who will later find out who it is. But then we see as she is about to get struck down by the assassin, the one, the only, Rex comes in to save the day, which we knew we were going to get him eventually, so that was pretty cool to see him come out. But they're wondering who this assassin is. And then they find out it's a clone trooper. But they don't know who this clone trooper is, as his identification has been wiped out. And he ends up killing himself. So that is the whole episode right there of breakdown for episode 7. So it was a good one. I liked it. We'll talk about the roundabout of what I thought about the episode a little bit later. Episode 8. Truth and Consequences. We see Omega meditating as she learned that from actually Gungi, which was pretty cool that she mentioned, and that was nice. I thought that, maybe that's a little nudge to something we'll see a little bit later on in Star Wars, but we'll talk about that for another video. But then right after, we see Rex as he has a mission for them to go to Coruscant. And then we see Clone Force 99 as they are getting informed on what happened, and they see the clone that was the assassin. They get to see his body as they're talking about it. And, basically with Slip telling them about the command log and how they need to retrieve it from Rampart's ship since it has the data bank on what happened on Kamino. Then right after, we see Omega seeing the Galactic Senate as she's mesmerized and wonders, where the clone chairs is in the Senate, but finds out from Senator Chuchi that they never had one, as then we see she is upset about it and how, clones are very important and they deserve to be represented. And that's why you saw in episode 7, you saw Senator Chuchi talking to the clones to fix and help them as they need representation in the Galactic Senate. Then right after, we see Clone Force 99 arriving on Rampart's ship to retrieve the data. Then of course, an all fight breaks out, and they're on the run because their cover is blown as they did turn on the ship, and that was the outcome from that happening, was their, cover got blown. Then we see Haley Bertoni, who was the senator of Kamino, and comes out with Senator Rio and puts proof that Rampart was the one who had Kamino destroyed, and asking where the funding went, and recorded the commander log, and they get it for sure and use it to show that he indeed was there with his ship. Then right after, we see the shock troopers come in to arrest him, as now it has been turned around on him, and we see Palpatine come out and he talks how he agrees that Rampart is guilty and how he had help, not just from anybody, but the clones, which makes the bill that they were trying to pass in episode 7 when they were talking about it, it makes the pitch to decommission them all the more. And he then says it's time for a change and calls for a new wave of Imperial stormtroopers as he twisted it so he can get what he originally wanted, as that was the plan with the bill from Admiral Rampart and what he was trying to get approved, but Senator Chuchi ended up being a problem, which he couldn't get that resolved. We then see Clone Force 99, and as they're talking to Rex and Senator Chuchi, we learn that Echo is leaving as they're saying bye to him, and Omega's kind of like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? Now, I really love this because this was really, they did a good job building this into the story for season 2 so far. And it really built the relationship that Echo and Omega have. And like I said, I'll dive deeper into it in a later video, but this proved my theory all the more that one of them was going to be leaving eventually. And it ended up being Echo. I thought it would have been eventually, you know, Echo and Omega leave together, which I'll talk about a video later about what I know. But it was so sad. And you see Omega give Echo a hug as she didn't want him to leave because they built such a bond this season. And it was really intense. It was sad, as we know that Echo talks about how the fight is bigger. There's a bigger fight at hand. He talks about, you know, with Rex, so he's going to be going with him and he wants to be a part of the fight. He wants to be a part of that cause, as we've heard him talk about it in previous episodes. So, you know, this episode, I would say, in the last one, really hit a note, as we're seeing now the phase out of the clone troopers, and now we're going to start seeing the Imperial stormtroopers start coming in as the bill is passed now because of Palpatine using his manipulation skills. But overall, for me, both episodes were a 10 out of 10. The build-up, it was so good. I really loved how they incorporated a lot of things in both episodes with the Empire, and seeing now, like I said, the phase out from clone troopers to the stormtroopers. I can't wait to see what the next episodes have in store. Comment down below. Let me know what you think the following episodes going forward will talk about and what they'll deal with, as we've already gotten everything basically from what we saw in the trailer before Bad Batch came out, season 2. We got Gungi, we got Palpatine. What else do you guys want to see going forward now that the Imperial stormtroopers are in, clone troopers are out? Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. Hit the subscribe, like, and notification bell so you're always in the know on everything Star Wars here on the Eternal Sith Network. And remember, the Eternal Sith, then, now, forever. Later, guys.